Alright, motherfuckers. Okay, let's get into this. I recorded about a damn half hour of this video on AC Green until I realized GarageBand, which I used to record my audio, just didn't want to work for whatever reason for a good 28 of it. So I'm kinda pissed. Let's record this video. Roll the intro. I don't really have a good intro right now, but on this channel I like to talk sports. So there's a lot of players from the 80s that wouldn't be recognized by today's NBA fans, and I don't think there's any shame of that. From era to era, only usually the names of the top-of-the-line superstars and game changers are recognized, and those borderline all-stars or great-at-one-thing dudes just get lost to time. That's just how it is, and that's how it will always be in NBA history. I mean, you're probably going to remember the names of LeBron, of Giannis, and of Luka a good 20 years down the line, but Evan Fournier, CJ McCollum, those may get lost. Case in point, can you name the player who led the 1980s in scoring? Magic? Bird? Maybe Isaiah Thomas? Michael Jordan? Wrong. Alex English, actually. Who this video is not about, but if you want to see an Alex English video, let me know. If a player like that can be forgotten, what about a guy who was all about consistency, defense, rebounding, tenacity? And that's who this video is about. And also his interesting personal life. But that's about it. Without further ado, let's meet AC Green. AC Green Jr. was born on October 4th, 1963 in Portland, Oregon. The AC in his name stems from his father's parents' names, Amanda and Chester Green, hence the AC. In high school, while going to Benson Polytechnical, Green would become a born-again Christian, and he would stay committed to his faith throughout his entire life. Green would stay local for his college career, going to Oregon State from 1981 to 1985. As a sophomore, he was an all-Pac-10 selection, and his team made a run to the Elite Eight. As a junior, he was 4th in the nation in field goal percentage, shooting almost 66% from the field, and was voted Pac-10 Player of the Year. Throughout his college career, he was 2nd all-time in rebounds and 4th all-time in scoring for Oregon State. He averaged 19 and 9 throughout that span. He led his team to the NCAA tournament 3 times as well. And another very interesting thing, throughout his time in college, he never missed a single class, which I find very tough, even though I'm not in college. Green would be drafted 23rd overall in the 1985 NBA draft to the Los Angeles Lakers. There probably has never been a more fish-out-of-water draft choice in NBA history. I'm being hyperbolous here, but let me explain. This was the Showtime Dynasty Lakers. This was a time where, as former Laker Byron Scott said, they were bigger than rock stars. AC Green was an Oregon homer and a born-again Christian in the time where Magic Johnson was hosting lavish sex parties and the Lakers would get anything they wanted from anyone they wanted. However, they believed that the 6'9" power forward, who was a great defender, would fit in very well with the team. And surprise, surprise, he did. His rookie year on the court, he would play in all 82 games but only start 1, averaging 6 points and 4 rebounds throughout that span. However, off the court is where all the interesting stuff happens. Of course, the quiet, devout, born-again Christian who, in his sophomore year in college, had organized a campus-wide protest at Oregon State after he found a Playboy being sold in one of the bookstores. Funny side note, Playboy voted him as one of their All-Americans that year. But the Lakers would poke and prod him, trying to make him slip, per se. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar recalled that Green would carry around a Bible with him at all times. The Lakers, at the start of his rookie year, had a pool going that got up to around $600. If Green did not get laid within 2 months, the money was his. And let's just say, he got his bag. According to Magic Johnson, Green would be regularly invited to clubs and parties. He would simply reply with, "I won't go out with you guys, but I will pray for you." In one famous incident, the team had enough. On a road trip, they paid a woman who was very beautiful and very scantily clad, who was hanging around with the team at the time, to go to Green's hotel room, fully naked. She would then knock on the door and... Yeah, okay. Anyways, the plan would go off not at all. She knocked on his door, and Green didn't even let her in. In possibly the most passive-aggressive move in NBA history, Green simply began saying prayers very, very loudly. He didn't even let her in. The operation was a failure. This would lead into his second year, which was 1986. This is where Green would begin to really shine as a player. He appeared in 79 games and started 72 of them. For the regular season, he would average 10 points, 7 rebounds, a block, and a steal per game. Throughout this season, Green would become known for his energy. He was tenacious in defense, ferocious on rebounds, and very efficient, shooting 53% from the field that year. The Lakers would go on to win the championship, and as the legend goes, with the assistants passing out champagne bottles to the rest of the team to celebrate, Green would be handed a bottle as well. However, being straight edge, he would quickly hide it under a chair so no one would notice. In the following season, the Lakers would repeat as champions, Green averaging 11 points, 8 rebounds, a steal, and half a block while playing in all 82 games and starting in 64. This year, he would also be named to the all-defensive second team. This would also be the year that Green would start the streak that got him an NBA record, most consecutive games played. In 1989, Green would average 13 points, 9 rebounds, and a steal. The Lakers would make the finals, but then get swept by the Pistons. In 1990, Green would be named an All-Star starter for the West, averaging 12 points and 8 rebounds, as the Lakers would make the finals again, but lose to the Bulls. 1991 would be a down year for Green, 9 points and 6 rebounds a game. 1992, he would perform much better, averaging 13 points and 9 rebounds a game, and finished 4th in the league in field goal percentage at 53% again. 1993, though, would be the last of his season of his first stint in LA. After averaging 12 points, 8 rebounds, and a steal, he would become a free agent and head out to Phoenix. For 6 out of his 8 years in LA, Green led the team in rebounds. While in Phoenix, Green would start out hot. In 1993, he would average a career-high 14 points along with 9 rebounds. In 1994, his scoring would dip some, but he would still grab 8 boards a game. In the 95-96 season, his scoring and rebound would dip fairly dramatically to 7 points and 6 rebounds a game. This year, his consecutive games played streak would almost come to an end, as he was elbowed in the face by J.R. Reed, forward for the Spurs. Green would lose 2 teeth and get a concussion. However, he was on the court for the next game. This would lead into 1996, where he would be traded to Dallas in the deal that would bring Jason Kidd to Phoenix. Green, though, was the throw-in at that point, as he was 33 years old. Green would provide consistent rebounding to the Mavs, though, averaging 8 rebounds and really not much else. However, this was when he would break the record for most consecutive games played on November 20th of 1997. Beating out Randy Smith's mark of 906 consecutive games played. He would play in Dallas for 2 more seasons, averaging 7 points and 8 rebounds in 1998, and 4 points and 4 rebounds in the strike-shortened 99 season. In this free agency after that season, he would go back to LA, this time not to play with Magic Johnson, but Kobe and Shaq in the year of 2000. Green at that point was 36. However, he started all 82 games for the team, averaging only 4 points and 4 rebounds though. However, this team would go on to win the championship, starting the three-peat. Green that year was also known to use his platform for other things, walking around constantly with a green teddy bear, which he would hold with him when he was on the bench, during interviews, basically at every time. Little AC, as the bear was known, was there to help promote his charity, the AC Green Foundation, which promoted abstinence amongst teenagers. The AC in Little AC actually stood for Abstinence Committed. However, after that year in LA, he would be gone again, this time to Miami. A 37-year-old Green would average 4 points and 4 rebounds that year, and their team would go to the playoffs to be swept by the Hornets in the first round. After that year, Green would officially retire from the NBA. So, of course, his legacy is underrated. He played in the most consecutive games in NBA history, 1,192. He only missed 3 games in his entire career, and those were all in his second season in LA. Green, of course, was also, known for his abstinence, which, maybe it's just me, but I respect the hell out of him for that. He stayed true to his faith in an era of distractions, part of the Showtime dynasty. He was an NBA player first and foremost, was making a ton of money, you know, duh, and could have had any woman he wanted. But he chose to stay committed, and he got married in 2002 as a result. So kudos to him for that. I find it very inspirational, especially when I'm getting down about this YouTube stuff, because other stuff happens in life, especially with my job. And, my goddamn audio deciding to crash. But never mind, never mind. And 16 years in the NBA, 3 missed games, and 3 titles is still one hell of a career. Props to you, AC, and good luck to you wherever you may be. I would like to thank you all for watching this video, like and subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'm trying to figure out how the hell OBS works so I can use some footage for 2 big projects that I'm working on. One being about the history of the Arizona Cardinals, and the other being about the 2004 NBA Championship and how that went. So yeah, stay tuned. And that's it for me. So, deuces.